Okay, do you want to grab a seat? All your drinks. Come on, because I want to start. Thank you for being on time. Okay. This session obviously is entitled Adapting and Integrating Technology to Help Retention. Now, what I didn't want to do was a whole session just on technology. So what I decided to do was show you the types of stuff I'm doing with my major clients. I'm not going to give you huge detail. I'll give you some detail because some of it's proprietary, but it'll give you some ideas about the types of things you can do. Once again, if you email me, you'll get this video as well. I might actually add a couple of other videos. I've got over 100 videos of different presentations that I've done. So if you just email me, just put video in it and I'll send you a copy. It won't be tomorrow, but it will be in the next few weeks. Okay. A couple of things just to be aware of. Depending on who I'm working with, we're turning retention in terms of human-to-human interaction. One of the key factors for retention is in interaction, and I'll go through that in a little bit. But our success rate is somewhere between improving retention by about 10% to about 80%, which is massive, absolutely massive with some. What we've found, though, is the impact of digital retention, the digital retention strategies which don't have a human side to them, only have about a 3 to 7% impact. But I'm still convinced that most of you would like to improve your retention by about 3 to 7%. That's going to be 1 to 2 months of extra membership if people are paying month by month. Yeah. What we're trying to do with digital is we're trying to prompt or increase visits. That's what we're trying to do. That's the purpose of it. How many of you do email campaigns, just as an example? Who does email campaigns? Who does them from a retention perspective? Anyone? Okay. How many of your emails include something to do? There's a behaviour to follow based on the email landing. Because that's what they should be. The behaviour should be, how does your email prompt the next visit? You know, if I send emails out, and some of you know this, I send quite a lot of emails out, there's always something to do in my email. Click on this, watch this, go read this book. There's always an action to take. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to take action, and the action we must get them to take is visit, because we know visit frequency predicts retention. We also want to increase the interaction opportunities. So some of these are really designed to give you and your staff an opportunity to talk to more people more frequently, because we know that increases retention. And sometimes it's about delivering effective programming. I was explaining yesterday to a group that every week I get about, 5 to 10 requests from app developers to have a look at their app and give them feedback. You know, we've got this new app that's going to change fitness behaviour. We'd like your feedback. I just emailed them back now going, there's a fee for this because I'm a consultant. And they're like, some of them, they get back to me and go, okay, fine, what's your fee? Others, just never hear of again. But the other one that I'm getting more and more of is probably 2 to 3 a week, online personal training platforms. how to deliver training programs online. It's probably one of the biggest tech growth in the fitness industry. You see it all the time being requests for money and investors. Stuff I'm going to talk about today, membership systems, apps, CRM systems or customer relationship management systems, emails, SMS and push notifications. We all have a digital identity now. We've all got a digital identity of some level. We all go online, we all look for things. The fact that we're even online gives us a digital identity. There are softwares that I can access now that if you ever visit my website, I can follow you and find out where you go after me and where you came to before me. So I can see if you visit me before porn or after porn. I hope it's before. I don't want those thoughts. Consumer digital profiles often look at how often you log on, what you look at, how long you look at it for. And I know the work I do with the low-cost operators that sell almost exclusively their memberships online. We study this stuff all the time. What's the click-through speed? What's the click-through rate? How long do they dwell on this page? How long do they dwell on this image? Which images are having a faster click-through rate? What's the simplest thing we can do to get them to go from thinking of joining to joining? Can we change the language of that? Yeah. Other digital profiles that we can collect in more traditional clubs, how often you visit your club, what you do while you're there, how long you stay. Now, I've commented before that with a lot of the research I've done in the past, we've had a narrow number of columns and a great big masses of rows, 1.5 million in the States, but not many columns. What the digital profile gives me is more columns of data. And now, again, an operator I'm working with, we went 450 columns across. Because we were collecting not only the visits that they made, so not visit frequency, but the actual visit, time of day, time in, time out. We could also correlate that to see if there were any other people who always came in at the same time and same day, and we worked out who was training together from the data. We tested that by saying, when you come and train, do you train on your own? And they were like, no, I train with my friend. We go, is your friend? And they're like, whoa, that's spooky. Because we could actually see them going through the turnstiles within 5-minute blocks of each other. Often, either side. One goes first, then the other one, or vice versa. Stuff I'm always going to want to collect, and those of you who've seen my research before know I'm always collecting age and gender and location. I want to know where people are. My phone now gives so much information in an already computer readable format. My phone held here collects the information about how far I am from the ground, so it knows I'm on the first floor, by my geo-positioning in the world. It knows which way I'm holding my phone, if I tilt it this way, this way, this way, or this way. It doesn't quite know that it's pointed at you. Well, it is now. But it knows I just did that, which means it can track where I am all the time. Which is when the films, where you see them when they're on the run, they throw their phones away. Because that tells that anyone who wants to look at it, where you are. How much of you give up information through your phone? By going online and ordering things. If you've ever put in your address, data, goldmine. But I want to look at membership types. I want to know if you're a previous member. I want to look at your length of membership. I want to know over 600, sorry, it's in black down here, 600 plus variables we're capturing now. But what you need to do within your business is make sure any data you're collecting is clean. And by clean, what I mean is that numbers are actual numbers when they go into the system, and they're not letters. If you look on a keyboard, on a traditional QWERTY keyboard, in the top right-hand corner, there is the letter O. Diagonally next to it is the figure 0. The number of times people put an O in instead of a 0 in a number sequence is ridiculous. In fact, when I quote my cell phone number to people, it starts 07956. It doesn't, because there is no O number. But people put the wrong numbers in. They don't put dates of birth in. Do any of you got software systems where you can skip putting the date of birth in? They're getting better, but go and check, because if you don't, the computer puts in 01/01/1900, which when you work out the average age of your members, anyone who's not in there is 116 years old. So it skews your membership data. You want clean, accurate data all the time so you can run stuff. Computers and machines can't read inaccurate data. No matter how good people, when people say, I'll just do a big data thing on it, they obviously don't know what they're talking about. So get a really good membership system that allows you to accurately track your member behaviour by visit frequency, by age, by gender, secondary purchases, membership types. Check if you have a multi-site business or even a single site business that your membership types can only be coded one way. And by that I mean you can't have a membership that is 12 months single off-peak and another one that's off-peak single 12 months. Because actually it's the same thing, but it's just been coded the opposite way around. Because when I go to look at that type of data, now I'm looking at two different types of membership, not one. It's one in the way you sell it, but you want to get it to be readable the same way. Quite commonly now we're seeing people bringing their own devices. Plus you have your own devices. The members bring their phones. This is supposedly the iPhone 7 or 9. I think it'll actually be, that is full size. I do think it'll be that big. But remember, people are collecting information about themselves through their phones now. They're using training apps. But you've got equipment, I know some of you have got this equipment, that can collect data about the customer while they're working out. They're using LF Connect as an app. You can record their workout, record their distance, record their calories, record the whole thing, store it. You want to run the workout again, you just plug it into the machine and rerun the workout. So if you were to run around the perimeter of this facility as a workout, and then you record it, save it, plug it into one of the machines, this is fairly flat. To be fair, the Netherlands is fairly flat. But where it goes up, the machine would go up. Where it goes flat, it would go flat. Depending on which machine you got, it might go down. It will replicate what you did outside. How many of you know all the programs on your cardiovascular machines? So we start with digital interactions and digital strategies. You've got some really good digital kit. No matter which kit you've got, go and make sure your staff, if you've got cardiovascular machines, know all the programs and what they do. Because I bet you there are some of your staff that go, it's a treadmill, press the green button. But they could name every muscle of the 350 muscles in the spine. Make sure that, because you can improve retention. If this has got, and I think this version's got about 30 standard programs built into it. That's one every 2 weeks for over a year. You could keep changing someone's program. Gives you an opportunity to talk to somebody on another occasion. Let me show you another thing you could do. Let me show you another thing. Now there are going to be some people that go, I just want to press the green button, run for 5 kilometres and that's it. That's fine. But why not record and take the information out as well? People are bringing their phones. They're consuming their audio-visual stuff through their phones. How many of you listen to or watch programs, if you do cardio, on your phone or tablet? The machine's enabled to do it, but you bring your phone or tablet anyway. So this relationship goes both ways. But you need to explain to your member, interactions drives visits. It drives retention. But teach and explain to the outputs mean to the member. What does it mean on the console if it says you've done 5 calories? What does it mean if it says your heart rate's 11? Oh, look, I'm training now. Heart rate, it's 11. Is that good? Right. Just keep your face really straight. Just go. Different. Don't dial for an ambulance straight away. But we've got so much of this stuff that we never teach our members how to use. In In fact, I would really have a go at some of you if you've not even taught your staff how to use it. You've bought it and not taught your staff. You just go, I'll go and learn that, and they didn't. So lots of people are now bringing their own devices. BYOD, bring your own device. It can be a challenge because people download apps that they like. Now, a simple strategy for you would be to learn or have 5 recommended apps in your business that they can download off the internet. If you've got LifeFix equipment, one of them should be LF Connect. And you could have a pop-up stand that says, we can teach you any one of these 5 apps. LF Connect, Map My Ride, Runtastic, Diet something, Gym Pro. Then when they update their apps, you haven't got to pay for that. When Under Armour invest more money in updating Map My Ride or Map My Fitness, they've spent the money on that, and you just go, we'll teach you how this latest version works to get the most out of your workout. It's a simple approach to technology. I don't think many operators actually benefit from having their own apps. In fact, you talk to the real big box operators, the multinationals, they've stopped even creating their own software systems. Now, David Lloyd built his own software system, Virgin built his own software system. With their new CIOs coming in, their chief information officer going to go, scrap that, we want something built by a proper company, not something we've asked for. Yeah? Hence, so many of them have gone across to things like Salesforce and Exerp and things like that. Because they're not experts in building software, they're experts in running clubs. So what I would suggest to you is, find out what the most popular apps are, perhaps in your club by survey or by talking to people. It's another reason to talk to people. Do you record your workout? Yes. Which apps do you use? Or find 5 simple apps that you could download and go, we support these 5 apps. If you want to work out and record your workout, we'll teach you how that works. It's simple, really low cost. You need to be able to explain what goes on their screens, what is their recording, what those numbers mean. Increasingly, the wearable technology is becoming more and more and more sophisticated. I spoke with Nike a few years ago. They were looking at their fuel band, and I know they're not doing the fuel band anymore. They were looking at the fuel band, and I asked the question, well, the thing that I wanted to do, because they were asking for research ideas, this isn't a fuel band, by the way. So the fuel band takes information about the runner, traditionally, and sends it up into the cloud or up into wherever it's going. So why can't we send stuff back? Oh. I went, what do you mean? I went, like, messages, congratulations, prompts, nudges. I went, no, that's not what it's for. I went, I know that's not what you designed it for, but you're asking me, well, you're asking for research proposals, and I'm suggesting we start sending stuff back. We like to run, well done. Did you realise you did it in this much shorter time than you did it last time? Be their virtual coach. We have to be able to explain what's on there, say their MyZone tile. What does 200 calories mean? Nir Eyal, who is a blogger and a psychologist, he wrote a book called Nudge, who spoke at URSA this year. We were talking about, I was fortunate enough to have a meeting with him and a chat with him. And he was saying that people don't understand the numbers. There's all this wearable tech and people are going, I've got a result. What does that mean? You know, we do because we're in the industry. But how many people do you know who've got wearable tech that actually don't know how to get the best out of their wearable tech? Why don't we teach them? Because teaching them encourages them to interact with them. It also builds a sense, or it actually builds a bonding. How many of you have got an iPhone? I'll give you an example. Who's got an iPhone? How long have you had iPhones for? A couple of years, a bit more? How hard is it to go and use a non-Apple phone? When someone says, it's like, you can get in and then you can't navigate because you've got so much time invested in learning how your iPhone works. Actually going back and learning how an Android works is really tough. The same if you use an Apple computer or MacBook. Going back to a PC program, unless you're doing it all the time. My son's on a PC, I'm on a Mac. I haven't been on a PC for about 4 or 5 years. I went to his PC, I didn't even know how to get on the internet. He's got all these tiles and all these pictures, and I'm going, where's the internet? But if you teach people about their apps, they become invested in you. You become the source of support. Yes, they've got their app, but you're the one that's teaching them how to work it. So teach and explain. I love these. I absolutely love push notifications. In fact, for my own clients, I've got an app, and it's on my phone. And my clients have got it on their phone. And when I want to contact them with some new research, or we do a thing called Retention Lab, where we test things, and then we produce the results, but they're only for my customers. But I push it out through the app and say, this is the latest research. You know, you sent out 100 emails for me with this content? Well, so did the other 12, and these are the results. So they reduce the risk by sharing it. So when we send out emails, I want you to send 100 emails to people who haven't been in for a year. They're like, whoa! I said, well, don't worry, because the other 11 are doing it as well. But we'll see what the results are of 1,200 members' responses. So you don't send it to everybody, you mitigate the risk. But we use push notifications. How quickly do you think they open my app when they see that little red dot next to my logo? How often do you open the app when there's a little red dot next to the logo? Like a text message comes through or an SMS comes through, it's like, oh. Push notification. If you've got an app, you've got your own business app, use it to message your clients. It doesn't have to go through a spam filter. It isn't measured by Google. Google isn't ranking it whether you should actually be allowed to deliver that or not. Because actually the client has said, I'll download your app. That's a direct line. I call it the bat phone. It's like that big light that goes up in the sky when Commissioner Gordon wants Batman. Yeah, it's like, oh, Paul's been in touch. If you've got your own apps or a business app that comes with your management software, use the push notifications to notify people. If you're going to start a really basic process of engaging with people digitally, the first question you want to just ask them, because this gets really complex really quickly, is, have you been a member of a gym before, yes or no? Because your content will differ between yes or no in terms of the answer, or it should do, if you're going to do this effectively. Now what happens is, if they say no, you can assume they've never been a member. If they say yes, we don't know if they're savvy, whether they've been a member of one club and failed, 10 clubs and failed. All we know is they have been a member before. But the type of content we can push to them then, or encourage them to access, will differ. Now I just did this as a simple content flow. So if someone says no, what's their reason for exercising? I've just given 3 examples here. I have to have different types of content to follow this up. Because if someone says they're interested in weight loss, I'm going to send them information about weight loss and how we can support them in their weight loss. If they say they're interested in strength, I'm going to send them different emails relative to strength. I'm not going to do programming, I'm just going to educate them. I'm going to send them emails that take them less than 1 minute and 30 seconds to read. Sometimes I'm going to send them a video. But I'm going to give them content that's relevant to them. Now, obviously if they say yes, you've got to ask some more questions. Well, how long ago were you a member? Less than 3 months, somewhere between 3 and 6 months, or more than 6 months ago. Because this could be someone who's just switching from one club to another. This is someone who's tried, probably failed, and needs to try again, or been injured. But I want different information. Now when I get to weight loss, depending on which one of these 3 they are, I need 3 lots of information, or 3 lots of content to them. So you can see how this blows up really, really quickly. And what you end up with, and this is a sales one that we've done, what you end up with is a sequence of triggers and outlines, and you can configure it using your CRM systems. Who here has a CRM system? A way of interacting digitally with their members online? Okay, a few of you do. Well, this is a software system that you can buy that's, you don't have to have it embedded in your management system, but it takes a lot of information. But just to give you some ideas, they start here, you profile them, based on them completing the profile, you send them a different type of message after a certain time. So I'll give you some ideas of what that might be in just a second. But if they don't do something, That's also a behaviour, so you send them a different message. Or if they don't do something for a period of time, so they've been a member, they've joined, they've come in. They've not come in for the last month, you send them a different message. They joined, they didn't come in ever. Low-cost operators I'm working with, 10% of people who join never visit. What we found from doing the research, because we know when they joined, because they're doing it online, most of them do it on a Sunday night between about 7 and 9. Which in the UK is when usually the most rubbish television's on. People are bored of the weekends, they've got their laptop on their lap, and it's like, oh, I could join a gym for a tenner. Click. So we're looking at, they have the concept that they want to join, but they haven't got the follow-up. So we're looking at the types of emails we send to get them moving from couch to club. So we can create all of these triggers. Some of them we can set that require a human action, a phone call. So we ring people who haven't been in, and the last thing we say to them is, you haven't been in. You don't ring people up and call them out on their bad behaviour. You just ring them up and go, how's your training going? Knowing full well they haven't been in, let them lie through their teeth. Rather than going, you joined 2 weeks ago, you haven't been in, what's going on? Oh, it works really bit. They just justify it, they give excuses. Ring them up and go, you've been a member 2 weeks, we're wondering how things are going. What can we do to support you? So you can have human triggers within your digital interaction. Some of this you just make completely digital. Here's an example sequence. I'm going to do this quickly. Remember, you're going to get these slides as part of the embed in the video. The first part of any process I use, I call the indoctrination phase. We indoctrinate the new member in the idea that they've made the right decision. Yeah, we want to get their heads. Some of the programs I run are called Head First. You get their head, then you get their body. It's their head that decides whether they're coming or not. So we do the indoctrination phase, and it begins at the end of the sales process. So this is a separate email sequence from a sales process. Within 2 hours, that we send them an SMS congratulating them for joining the club. Within 2 hours. Our record is less than a second. Because the salespeople can do it actually as the person's joining, they can fill it out on the software and click send message. Or as they fill out their joining, it automatically sends out. But we guarantee they'll get a message within 2 hours. We also explain to them how to whitelist us on their emails, so we don't end up as being junk email. Yeah? We'll send them an email telling them they've done the right thing, congratulating them on joining. So we send them an SMS and then we send them an email telling them the same stuff. Well done, well done. Yeah? Now, we'll also give them something to do. So this is what, we'll tell them what's going to happen. This is what will happen next. We're going to send you some emails explaining when your induction is. We're going to send you some emails and some content explaining why that's important. We'll show you what are the results that people achieved from having an induction over time. So we're telling them what to expect and get ready for that. Day 2, email with app page download hyperlink. If we've got apps that we use, download this app. This will help you track your workout. It's an action. I just want them to take the action. I don't care if they use the app or not at the moment. I just want them to do something. I don't just want to send them an email for the sake of sending them an email. Send them an SMS about their induction time and a what to expect reminder, so we reinforce it. Sometimes we'll send an email if they've opted out of SMS. They can opt out the whole thing if they want. But we've got ways in which we say to people, the people who are most successful are the ones who take both our physical and our digital support. Is that something you would benefit from? It's really hard to say no to that. After 5 days, an email, how did it go? How did your induction go? We might ask very specific questions. If we know they signed up for weight loss, we're going to add that to our data about them and send them information. We can also here check to see if what we're promising as a business is being delivered by our staff. Give them a checklist. Did you get the following things? If one of these items was missed, please get in touch. They didn't turn up, we missed you, let's rebook. Join us on Facebook. I love it when people join us on Facebook. Do you know how much Facebook data collects about, how much data Facebook collects about you? You go, yeah, all right then, click. So join us on Facebook. You're bigger than this. This is a bigger thing than just you. Your Facebook page should contain 2/3 content generated by the members, 1/3 generated by you. That's when it feels like a community. If it's 2/3 by you, 1/3 by them, it feels like a sales page. And it's usually full of flash sale, 24-hour sale. Get your friends in, we'll give you a discount. Bollocks. Day 14, visit frequency. We're tracking their visit frequency. So we're saying how many visits you made. We're looking for you to make at least 4 visits per month. How to get organised to use the gym, because we know that people struggle to pre-think working out. It's like, I should work out tonight. And then when they get to that point in time, they go, I haven't got my kit ready. So we're prompting them to pre-think. Day 21, when you're in the club next, you're the master, you need some extra help. Day 33, you're part of X. Whatever that X is, you're part of a group that have attended more than 20 times in their first 20 days. I'm just making that bit up. We're going to help you build confidence and competency to build mastery. Share your experiences so far on Facebook, pushing them to generate content. Take before and after pictures, take a picture of your class. We encourage people to use their phones in their clubs. We're not that sign that says turn your phone off before going on the gym floor. We're like, get on the gym floor, take a picture, post it on Facebook, tell everybody. Day 43. Are you interested in personal training? 1/3 of people who buy personal training at this period in time. 60% buy after this. Only 10% of people buy personal training at point of sale or in the first month. Which is ridiculous when most of our PTs go, if you don't want personal training when I first ask you, I'm never asking you again. Because 90% of people buy it later in their membership who buy personal training. It's a long game. We don't use sales messages in this process. There are sales messages and special offers. They're done in a different format. They look different. The images are different. The way in which we talk to people are different. How many of you have been on the receiving end of email blasts that are just sales message, sales message, sales message? It's just sale, 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 sale. What do you do? Delete, 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 delete. Ours are all different. They look different. Our first video image we send people has a picture of a puppy on the video. And we make a joke of the fact when you start playing the video, people actually look at more videos of puppies than they do of anything else. So we thought we'd start with ours. There are no puppies in the club. Here's the things to think about when you come along for the first time. So we joke and play around with people. If you just start sending emails again and again and again and get no open, Google tracks it as spam. And if you're not aware of this, you are who Google says you are now. So if I can't find you on Google, you don't exist. In fact, it's even given what's called a clout score. What's your social positioning within the internet and your community? And you want to be really high up on your clout score relative to your community. You do that by producing digital content that is relevant to your community, not just sales. We use sales videos, we use video messaging all the time. Make a little video and send it to people. I like the PTs doing it, I like the fitness instructors doing it, I love the sales guys doing it after someone's joined. You joined last week, just following up, how did it go? It's the same video we send every time, but people go, oh, thanks for sending that video, because we do it in a really natural way rather than a high performance, professional, branded way. People think we actually created it for them. Information ratio, you probably want to send about 3 or 4 pieces of information for every one sales piece, at least. Because you're getting them engaged in your business. That engagement builds loyalty. That engagement breeds visits. The visits breeds the retention. Now, some of the stuff I'm doing at the moment is taking this to really scary levels. For some of you, this will be really scary. I've met someone. I've told my partner. She's all right with it. He's a data scientist from University of California. He's a geek. Man, is he a geek. Double PhD in computer science and something else. He used to plot terrorist risks for the US government. So he's one of the team that would say risk up, risk down, based on scraping the internet. He's created a little bit of software. He showed it to 70 people at an event. 69 of them had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, do you want a coffee? We've started testing this in one site in the States, and we're going to be testing it some more. But this is where digital retention will be going, not just in what I do, but in what other people are doing as well. We data mine the membership database. This is why the data becomes really important. We can create what's called a persona. So I am a 52-year-old male. Does that mean all 52-year-old males are like me? No. Some 52-year-old males like smoking, drinking, and watching football. Now, I like watching football, but I don't smoke or drink. So our personas are different. The types of sports I like to be engaged in, or activities I like to be engaged in, are things like the gym, but also mountain biking. What a persona can do is it can actually start to group and identify common characteristics, not of what we do, but how we behave and what turns us on. So when they profile me, one of mine is exhilaration, which comes out in the mountain biking. So if they're going to program me and say, we've got this on offer, they're going to look for things that would be exhilarating in the workouts. If I'm more the sort of the calm, laid-back type, which I'm certainly not, it's going to say, oh, we've got this new yoga program. So it's not going to do it by age, it's going to be done by the types of things that are going to turn me on. Facebook did a study of this with Cambridge University in the UK. They managed to get it down to one question. Answer this one question and we can tell you who your persona is. We can classify you in different ways. We can do time series, which is the traditional retention analysis some of you have seen me do. We can look for associations between what I do, what I like, and what other people are like, so I can create groups. We can do regression analysis, which means we can test what the relationship is between exercise intensity and exercise adherence. And we know, this is just a general one, that as exercise adherence goes up, as exercise intensity goes up, exercise adherence actually goes down. Which should mean we start to question giving hit to everybody. We can look to see if you're a deviant. You're just odd. There was a guy in a club that I used to run, he always used to say, can we turn one of the treadmills around? Because when I'm running, I don't like to see the televisions. I'm in a row and there's a bank of tellies and he wants one turned around. No, he's deviant. We can segment, we can do lookalikes. This is really good for marketing and advertising. Look at your profile of your members and then look at the profile of your community and then go, oh, we've got some more of them out there, go get them. And we know what the persona of these people is like, so we can actually encourage people and write our marketing and do our follow-ups in the same way. But where I'm using all this, because this wasn't designed for retention, this was designed around sales. But I looked at it and said you could flip that and turn it into retention. Because what you can do is you can start collecting data on somebody, and these could be all the different data streams about someone. As I said to you, there could be up to 600 columns. We scrape Facebook. We scrape Twitter. If you join us on Facebook, we can get your data. If you join us on Twitter, if you follow our Twitter account, we can get Twitter information about you. If you've got your postcode, we can get about 40 pieces of data about you. And we use that to create a model based on you. Not you, you. And another one for you, and another one for you, and another one for you, so we can look at your unique behaviours within the business. That allows us to update our knowledge about you and the types of ways in which we can support you, interact with you, and help you be successful at exercise. Now, the thing that I love, and it probably goes, some of you will be like, Paul, you're just weird. That data stream continues to feed January, February, March. So everything you do, everything you feed, just updates my knowledge further and further and further about you. So I can get more and more accurate in the way that I feed you information. A bit like Amazon does if you shop on Amazon. A bit like Netflix does if you shop on Netflix. So these are the same processes they use. Here's our record. Who's got Spotify? How does Spotify decide? It uses these recommendation type engines. It creates all of this in the background. Siri. What's the Google one? Google Anywhere? No. Can't remember what it's called now. There's one that if you do something on a particular day and time all the time, it says, it's 5 to 5 now. If you want to get home to Appledorn by such and such, you should be leaving. And it just prompts you and you're like, whoa! And the first time it happens, it's really like, what? But once you've heard it a few times, it's like, okay, I better go, because it's actually pretty accurate. Because they're scraping all the data about traffic movement that's being produced. They know your normal pattern, they know your normal route, and now they're going, actually, you don't want to go that way tonight, you should go this way. The latest level of computer technology, if you feed in the information, did it rain, or what was the weather like in Portland, Oregon on the 4th of May 2007, the latest computers write their own code to search for that. They don't wait for humans to write the code or the algorithms to do that. They're writing their own code of how to go get that information. Now you can fill in all of this as well with wearable tech. So we can look at how often people need to rest, how often they need to train, what they might need to do, so we can auto-progress their workouts. And it all works from just basically taking your client data, pushing it into a database, making sure that that's machine readable, apply advanced analytics to it, fire it back, and you can get into a format where actually you can get a return on investment of between $1 to $4 and $1 to $12. So for every dollar you invest, that's how much you get back. I'm going to say 1 to 4, so I don't over-egg myself. But I've seen it as 1 to 12. But you're probably going to need to spend $10,000 to start with. But you wouldn't worry, would you, if you got a 1 to 4 return? And you push it back into your staff in a format that the staff can use. On front of house, you tell people what the value of that member is walking through. Not just if they're at risk of quitting, but how valuable they are. How many friends have they got? How many people have they recommended? Because you've got the value of them, plus if they're a high referrer and they're constantly referring new customers, they have a high value. Yeah? If they join and leave, they might have a higher value because at least they keep coming back to you. But you can use this information to go, I need to speak to this bloke's twin because this one is at risk of leaving, where this one is not. Now, we've got software that does this on the general. How many visits have you made in the last month? Oh, if you haven't been in for a month, you're really high risk of quitting. But it doesn't learn it, that's at the group level. It doesn't do it at the individual level. The software now is getting to the point where I can say, you haven't been in for a month, but actually that's not a risk, because that's actually your normal pattern. What you seem to do is a month, then do 4 or 5 sessions, and then you disappear for a month again. And then you're back, and then you go, and then you're back. Whereas if you haven't been in for a month, and your pattern is you come in twice a week and say, no, actually that is a risk. And we care about you because you've got lots of friends and you keep referring them and we love you. We love you too. Ish.
Yeah, that a lot.
Yeah. What sort of love is that? And we're able to start working out then what different things are worth. So we know that a 1 hour gym induction is probably worth an extra 7 months if you can get someone to have one, if it's got the right content. Getting someone to visit twice a week is worth 7 months. Getting them to join in the pre-opening phase is worth 15 months. Getting them to visit 3 or more times a month is worth 28 months. However, the easiest thing on that sheet to do is actually get them to have a one-off gym induction. Getting someone to visit twice a week for a number of months is a really tough thing to do. You progress them to that. How many of you, don't answer this, how many of you, this is the question, how many of you let people come and use your facilities and never have an induction? Don't answer that. It's worth 7 months. But what you've got to do is make sure the induction relates to what they're going to do. Because if they go and use the free weights and the functional area, and your gym induction is cardiovascular machines and resistance machines, it's a waste of time. That's why you need to know what they're interested in, when they're interested in it, so you can prompt them in the right direction. What are the simple things you can do? The simple things you can do are use your email systems to contact people, giving them information that's relevant. Now, it might be, there's times when you have to do what I call alerts. You just send a piece that the showers are cold, the club's shut, and you just send that to everybody. The rest of the time of your email campaigns, you want to be thinking 4 emails at a time. A day 1, a day 4, a day 7, a day 12. Think of it as a campaign, not as an email. Yeah? The people who don't open the first one, send them the same one but change the subject title. They don't know the content's the same, they didn't open the first one. So you haven't got to come up with new content, you just come up with a new title. Use the CV equipment you've got, the digital technology is already in the equipment, to engage with your members and talk to them. If you've got software systems that allow you to identify people who are at risk, use them. But manage your staff to make sure they do use them. Some of the technology that's coming in with the auto-progression and the wearables will probably mean, I think, that a third of personal training will be delivered by computers within 5 years. Because the computers will do algorithms that work out whether you need to train or rest or not. All right, they won't be able to check your technique, but maybe they will if we're using some of the screens with the cameras built in that show us the exercise, and we're doing the exercise and it goes, actually your technique's not right, this is what you need to do to get it right. There won't be people. That doesn't mean only there'll be PT studios. I think there'll be PT studios, but I think the big boxes will go for the digital approach because it's a lower cost. I have no time for thoughts or questions from you. I do apologise. I have a minute. Okay. A question. No. Any questions? Any thoughts? Who's scared by that? That last thing that I showed you? Or is it this? So what we found is if we tell people when they join, we use really advanced statistics and software to help and support you, is that something would find useful? Most of them go, oh yeah. Because actually when they're getting automated messages, they're not being judged. They know it's an automated message. When we ring people up, they go, oh, how do I get you off the phone? Questions for me? Or thoughts, John?
Well, do you have any numbers on retention from members using wearables and apps and those members who are not?
I don't. My colleague, so the question was, do I have any data on wearables and apps in terms of retention? I don't. My colleague, Dr. Melvin Hilston, has done some work on that. He's not seeing much impact in terms of retention. You know, if people, and all at the moment they're doing is they're saying, people who are using wearables, do they stay longer than people who don't use wearables? No. Most people are using their wearables for about 6 to 12 weeks before abandoning them or just turning them into a watch. Because they get bored with the information because they actually don't understand the information or know how to progress. So they've got to say, like, and that comes from the idea that with pedometers, when people were using a lot of pedometers, once you knew what 10,000 steps was like, and and you got it once, you started 5,000, next day you got 5,500, over a few weeks you got up to 10,000. When you walk every day and it's got 10,000, after a while you go, I don't need to look at that anymore. What's it telling me? You run out of interest. And we're seeing the same with apps, and we're seeing the same. I think they'll change. There's obviously a lot of people out there trying to make a difference, but they're not what they're doing is they're claiming they improve retention, but not proving they improve retention.
Okay.
So as soon as I know, you'll know. Promise you that.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah.
I do understand this, that data is very important, but what is it in for me as a standalone center? What can I do?
It allows you to compete against the big boys.
How can I work with the data?
Well, okay. So what will happen is, if you've got this happening, it comes to you in this format. So you haven't got to work out what it'll do is, so this is, say, a tablet, and it will say, this is David, he's at high risk. It'll also tell you what his interests are, how often he trains, so it'll give you an opportunity to talk to him about the things he's interested in. Yeah? Now, most of our staff don't talk to enough customers. They talk to the ones they know, or the ones who come on a regular basis. They don't even know he's at risk. So at the most basic level, it's going to be able to prompt our staff into knowing who to talk to. Now, depending on what equipment or what you're using, it might even tell me where he is in the gym. He's over there on that treadmill, because he's plugged into that. So I know where to go to find him and say, look, David, how do I help you achieve your results more? Because people are looking to online personal trainers to get results. I don't know how many there are in here, but in the UK there are hundreds of these online trainers, and people are buying their training program online, going to the gym, working out, and then going home and feeding back to their online trainer. Now, we've taken advantage of that. I should probably turn the video off now. We've taken advantage of that process with Jim and Sim in Vallentuna, because they've got a Ninja Warrior course. Right? Full-on, 14-piece Ninja Warrior course, including a 4-metre warped wall. Now, you can be a member. We created a membership there where you could come and train Friday night, Saturday or Sunday on the Ninja Warrior course. Now, they're on the edges of Stockholm. In Stockholm, SATs have 50 clubs. Now, they create this membership at Vallentuna where we send them their training programs of how to train Monday to Friday in their SATs club to improve their ability on the warped wall and all this ninja stuff at the weekend. So they're only weekend members, but they're actually bought into the club for all of their training. We're pulling them out of SATs clubs by saying, this is how you train. We've become the experts in that community. So you could use this type of thing for your community, so you could first find more members like the types of members you've got, and then support them more effectively. And the best at the moment we do is we guess about what people want. This will tell us, because they'll be saying it, oh, I did a great class. Oh, come and do that class again. So I know this is at really high level, I know. But it's the other stuff, the earlier stuff in the presentation, that's the lead into this. Because this actually feeds it back the other way. When you've got this, teach people about the app, push notifications, and send them the right emails. But it's not that costly either. I'm done, you can tell, can't you? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Uiteraard, als er nog meer vragen zijn aan Paul, kan je die stellen zo meteen, want hij blijft ook nog even. You're staying, right, for a drink?
Really briefly, EasyJet won't wait.
Right. Voor de mensen die het interessant vinden om een rondje te lopen hier, een paar minuten. Er gaan 2 kleine toeren starten, links en rechts. Of rechts en links, dat is mooi je bekijkt. Leuk om te doen, ik zou zeggen als je het leuk vindt, sluit erbij aan en anders dan gaan we even een hapje en een drankje doen. En, nogmaals bedankt voor jullie komst, ondanks het mooie weer. Want vanaf morgen is het natuurlijk weer minder. En ja, we hopen jullie de volgende keer op 1 juli ook weer te zien in Zwolle. Dankjewel.
Ga je doen? Ja, als jullie het leuk vinden, dan neem ik jullie graag mee. Ik moet even kijken, mijn collega's staan daar. Dus dan
Ja, voorlopig sta je.
sta ik achter, dus ik ga daar staan. Ja,
Misschien zeg
kijk.
drie keer. Ja, 3 keer.
Ga jij wel weet ik niet, ik weet niet hoeveel.
Als maak je er 2 van.
Ja? Dan, ja, dan mogen jullie met die dame meelopen. Ja, precies. Helemaal.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah.
Ja.
Yes.
Ik denk dat de taak de leidt
Take care.
als ondersteuning.
We zijn nog aan het zoeken welke richting het opschalen. Opschalen met eigen label, opschalen maar kan wel even de handschrift af. Dag Peter, hi. Hoe is het? Ja, meneer Vollers.
Hey, nou, dat moet je. In de plaza. Ja, oké. Dat is eens kort. En die zit dus kort. Waar ging het mis? Waar ging het mis? Ja, het is wel dan moet je jongens zijn.
Send you some basic stuff. Kijk even, dit development come over to you wherever you're trying as long as it's sunny. Spanish, Italian.
So you don't want to come to London? But no, we can say
Maar ik opgevallen ben sowieso een trainer zijn in ieder geval negatieve emoties tegen. Ja, belangrijk. Eentje mis. En dat voert mee. Als ik het heel snel krijg, gewoon aanpakken.
is het alleen maar als je er staat die je aanstuurt. Dat is mijn man, ik zit in het middel. We zijn dus nu in staat met een simcirkel om medewerkers binnen een uur.
Ja.
Ik hou er even bij, want die stond daarbij.
Ja, ik kom bij de rondleiding.
Een kwartier boterham opeten, dus een half uur. Als je niet na te denken, vol van, klikt en dan gaan we verder. Wij kijken, we hebben bij de monitor, een tablet, we weten precies wie er in de ziekte zit, we weten precies wie ze geweest zijn.
Is there a certain profile of clients you do?
Je bent Jeffer.
Do you know what? The reason I do the 12 thing is that the only people who come to me tend to be the ones who want to make a difference.
Yes. And they're willing to.
So they go, actually, we'd like to be that, and they know they've got to work. So most of my clients come to me rather than I go to them.
Is there also a profile?
No, not really. No, work with all sorts. Yeah, just more recently, it's just been the really big chains that have been coming.